Hello, this is Mark McKay, and I'd like to share with you this very interesting game I've come across recently. It's called A Slower Speed of Light, and it's by MIT Labs. Now, this isn't a very long or involved game. It's meant more to illustrate a concept. A concept about life and, well, about light, and how that relates to us. But enough of me talking. Let's let the story begin. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there was a little child. Sadly, the little child fell into death's icy grip far too soon. The little child's spirit began the journey to become one with the light. But the speed of light was too fast for the small and clumsy little spirit. Luckily, the spirit world is full of magical orbs that slow down light. Collect orbs to slow down light to walking speed, so you can finally move on. And here we get to the crux of the game. This is actually about the speed of light and the strange things that can happen when it gets close to relativistic speeds. Now, normally in everyday life, we walk around so slowly compared to the speed of light, we don't really notice things. But what would it be like if light were slow enough that we could see it as it traveled through space? How would that change the way we see the world? Well, the great folks at MIT Labs came up with this great program to demonstrate just that. So it's got a little description of the controls here. And it's just describing the spectrum here. You see, when we first start the game, we will only be able to see the visible light we normally can. But as light slows down, our vision is going to expand into both the infrared and the ultraviolet range. So you'll be able to see things that normally you aren't able to see. So here we begin the game. And we start in this little village. Now, at the moment, the speed of light is what the speed of light normally is when we see the world. And you can see it's a kind of cold, vaguely purple world, but it's nothing unusual here. But let's pick up some of those light orbs. See, now we've just changed the speed of light. We've just slowed it down by one tiny amount. So far, no big changes in the way we see the world. Let's take a few more orbs. I don't know if you can see it yet, but the colors do change a little bit as we move around the world, as we transition from being stopped to being in motion. Let's get one more, then we can walk through this field. And see, when we go backwards, you can probably see that now. The field changed a little bit to the red when we're going backwards, and changes towards the blue when we go forward. So let's try that one more time. Gonna cross that field, and we're hitting a blue shift as we run into that light, that slowed down light as it comes towards us. And if we go backwards, we're now going away from the light, and that shifts it a bit towards the red. So let's go out of our pen and explore this world a little bit. Collect a few more orbs and see what happens when the light slows down even more. Now you can see the shift of colors. It's a little bit more pronounced now. So I'm estimating we've collected about 30 or so of these so far. And you can see, as we move around this little village here, see the women, look at the colors of their dresses. As we come closer to them, they get bluer. And as we go further away, everything gets a little bit more yellow. And this is quite the interesting place. I think because it's a fantasy world, you have to use your imagination a little bit. It'd be interesting to know what real world objects would look like. But I think this is a pretty interesting idea. idea of how the Doppler shift in the colors would change as we go forward and back. Now you can also go side to side, and you get this weird rainbow effect. And that's because in the direction that we're moving, when we're moving to the left here, we're running into colors, running into the light, so that gives us a blue effect. And when we're moving, and the side that's moving away from us gets the red. Now, you might not notice it, but there's also a secondary effect going on here too. The shapes are actually bending as we move. It's particularly, you can really notice it on the arches. When you go by an arch, it sort of rears back a little bit, and it also, changes in space. I'm not actually doing anything to move the camera backwards. It's just when you move, because light is going so slow, now what you're actually seeing is the past. Whenever you look at anything, you're not actually seeing it as it is. You are looking at it as it was, at the time the light left it. And since light is going so slowly in this universe, that means that the tops of objects are further into the past than the bottoms of the objects. So they move at a different rate, or at least they appear to move at a different rate. And so you see them sort of zoom in and zoom out. The tops take a longer time to appear to get going than the bottoms. Here we are going back to the village again. Pick up a couple more of these spheres. And see we're a little bit more than halfway. We have 57 of those spheres. Let's slow light down a little bit more by collecting a few more. See another village up here. So I wonder, now in the game world, we're a spirit trying to slow down light enough that they can move on. So these others appear to have the same shape as the one as our character. So I wonder if they're spirits too, looking for a way to slow down the light so they can move on. Now you see there's a big red glow on the horizon there. It's because light has moved down so much, or slowed down so much, that we're getting a very pronounced shift. And yeah, we've gone outside of the visible colors so far. There's only so much blue shifting you can do before you go completely out of the human range of sight. So after a while, they're just making up colors to fill in there. So just sort of imagine that this weird rainbow colored thing is what you would see if you were able to see into the deep ultraviolet end of the spectrum. In fact, if you look at the little bar down at the bottom, as we go faster, you can see visible light extending both into the infrared and the ultraviolet. So let's go backwards so you can see the infrared again. Get sort of that weird zoom effect. And you also see a neat thing here is the black, because we are now moving so fast relative to the speed of light. If you move backwards, in some places no light gets to us at all. So I think that's actually physically impossible, even if you could go very fast. But this is a computer game, so you can even see things that go beyond the realm of known physics. So we've gone pretty far so far. Picked up 85 of those orbs. We've very close to our goal of picking up the full 100. Let's see if we can find more. So this is... there it is. There's a few more way over here. It's an amazing effect, the Doppler shift. And what's more amazing is that it happens, directly in front of you. And what you see as you're moving towards something is different than what you see out of the corners of your eyes. So I think we're almost finished here. Just a couple more spirit orbs to pick up, or light orbs. Yeah, so we have slowed down light incredibly slowly. Now here's the last one. I'm just going to back up a little bit. And there we go. We've collected all of the light orbs. Now, what's happened now is the game's moved into a new phase where we have slowed down light so much that they've can't really display the polar shift anymore. What they're instead doing is showing something called the Lorentz effect, in which the shape or the apparent shape of objects changes as you move. So it's a lot easier to see these on the tall arches, but you can see sort of that weird zoom in and zoom out. I'm going backwards now, but you can see how the shapes change as you go past them and speed up and slow down. And let's go to the side here. This is really an amazing game, and the best thing of all, this is for free. This is open source by MIT Labs, so I encourage you to go to their website and check it out and just play around with the physics of light and see how that changes your view on the universe, on light, and just what it means to see things and be places. And imagine what it'd be like if you could travel at nearly the speed of light. Alright, well, thanks for listening to this, and hope to see you next time.